sequence. Make sure you're not alone, and lock your doors. The program you're about to see deals with strange, unexplainable events documented or reported by experts, scientists, and eyewitnesses. Ghosts. Tonight you will witness a seance performed live, documented paranormal experiences, and an actual ghost hunt. We make no claims about what you are going to witness. However, we do invite you to prepare to be fascinated, intrigued, entertained, and even frightened. You decide if ghosts really exist.
A gardenia scent permeates the hillside below the Hollywood sign, although the flowers are out of season. A young woman jogs past a famous Hollywood mansion and sees the terrifying image of a ghostly apparition. A man hears furniture being dragged outside on his patio, but when he goes to investigate, there's no one there. In a famous Hollywood hotel, the ghostly image of one of the greatest movie stars of all time appears in the lobby mirror. These stories have a common theme of inexplicable mystery, haunted intrigue, and ghostly foreboding, and in no place are more of them told than right here in the entertainment capital of the world, Hollywood.
I can't believe it. That blew my hair off. Hi, I'm John Davidson. Tonight we are live, and we're going to take a hair-raising tour through the haunted side of Hollywood that is guaranteed to be, if not fun, then very frightening, perhaps both. Let's see if the experts on paranormal, Max Maven, can actually contact a spirit from beyond in a live seance. He tells me that something will happen. We'll have a team of paranormal experts investigate a Hollywood movie studio, and you can decide for yourself whether Marilyn Monroe, Montgomery Clift, Marion Davies, and other deceased stars have actually returned from beyond. Some say yes. I don't know. You decide. And prepare to be entertained, though, by the magic of Harry Blackstone and the special effects wizardry of Robert McCarthy, not to mention the antics of ghost story hunters Paul Williams and Pat McCormick on the back lot of Universal Studios right here in Hollywood. Well, the spirits are getting restless. Let's not keep them waiting. Come along on the search for haunted Hollywood.
Live from Universal Studios Hollywood, it's the search for haunted Hollywood. With your host, John Davidson. Starring in alphabetical order, Harry Blackstone, Max Maven, Pat McCormick, Patrick McNee, Paul Williams, and featuring the music of Bob Wolfman Sabellico and the Vampires.
All the secrets Marilyn knew, they're still alive in the air if we listen. She's trying to tell us what everyone knew. The magic, the mystery of Hollywood. I can feel it in the air tonight. The spirits are alive in haunted Hollywood. It's in the air tonight. The spirits are alive.
gentlemen, John Davidson.
Whoa! Oh, I love this stuff. Well, we're here to get you in the mood for Halloween. It's just around the corner, you know. Our show is all about things that go bump in the night. What's behind the unexplained footsteps heard in the attic? The door that slams by itself in the middle of the night. The etheric image that appears just as quickly vanishes before our eyes. Professor Hans Holzer and Reverend Noni Fagat each has an opinion on the subject that should be illuminating. Watch.
First, let me tell you what a ghost is not. Dangerous to people, a monster throwing slime around, skeletons in bedsheets, or a howling goblin with chains rattling. Real ghosts are those persons who left their physical body suddenly or unexpectedly or after long suffering. They are unable to realize their position in the in-between world between the two dimensions, unable to proceed to the next world with their consciousness intact, yet out of their element in our physical world and eager to make themselves known. That's why they reach out to the living for help and recognition.
People that don't see a fully materialized spirit will often feel that. They think something's looking at me. It makes you very uneasy. You know that in life many times you felt someone staring at you at a ball game or something. You've turned around and sure enough they're looking right at you. You felt that. Well, when spirit stands and stares at you, you definitely feel that.
That's what our show is all about. Now, our correspondent, Bob Chandler, visited the studios where our ghost hunt has been taking place over the last several weeks.
From the outside, GMT Studios looks like just another industrial warehouse. But inside, on its main stage, the set from Escape from Alcatraz awaits its next prison movie crew. There's more going on at these sound stages than just movie making, however. It's here on the Alcatraz set that unusual sounds, strange movements, and unexplained happenings have become almost commonplace.
Yeah, I can't really, count the number of times that something strange has happened down here. I can just tell you that the employees do not like to be down here at night alone. Well, we had an operational manager who, I don't know, he got in a fight with his wife or whatever the reason was, but he decided to stay in the corporate offices overnight. He heard some noise and he kind of woke up and looked. And there was a lady in a green dress. I don't know, he said she looked 25, 30 years old, run through the offices. And he looked through the blinds into the corporate meeting room. And he went in, and there was nothing. And he was pretty shook up the next day. He didn't want anybody else to know about it when he came and talked to me. He was afraid what people might think of him because it sounded so strange.
Dozens of other studio workers have reported similar occurrences.
I guess I experienced one of the first ones of hearing, like a creaking or a twisting of wood.
When we come back, we'll see what some paranormal experts say about the GMT Studios, and we'll follow them on an actual ghost hunt.
We'll get back to GMT Studios later in our show. It's fascinating stuff. Right now, let's see what's happening at the live seance here at Universal Studios Hollywood. Max Maven, mentalist, is almost ready to begin. And Patrick McNee is standing by at Studio 6. Patrick.
John, as you can see behind me, Max Maven is about to begin his seance at Studio 6. So let's listen in. In order to make conditions more conducive to spiritual contact, we have gathered together several artifacts from celebrities who are no longer with us. The key to Marilyn Monroe's mailbox from her first apartment on Orchid Avenue in Hollywood, sequins from costumes Mae West wore in Diamond Lil, Janis Joplin's bracelet, a pillbox that belonged to Bela Lugosi, and a rather appropriate book from the collection of Alfred Hitchcock. And we'll come back immediately should anything of interest take place. John, breathe out.
Thank you, Patrick and Max. Coming up, we'll meet our team of paranormal experts who say they've actually found something very interesting at the GMT Studios. So stay tuned as the search for Haunted Hollywood live from Universal Studios continues.
Sponsored in part by AT&T, the right choice. And by Ritz Crackers, regular and low salt. When you want a cracker, you want a Ritz.
Let's bring on our next challenger.
I always had AT&T until I went on this game show. I won $300 worth of free phone calls from this other long-distance company. I'm all excited. And then they hook us up. Took longer to get through. I couldn't call all the places I could with AT&T. Some prize. Took trying somebody else to appreciate AT&T. At least we didn't have to pay to find out.
People who thought they could do better than AT&T are coming back for the real value. Aren't you glad you never left?
What do you like on a Ritz cracker?
Everything but sour pickles, Brussels sprouts, and spinach.
But everything else is pretty good, right?
And onion I don't like either.
But what do you like?
I hate onions because they make me cry.
Okay, forget the onions. What do you like on a Ritz?
Peanut butter and jelly.
I thought so. Ritz, the perfect cracker with just about anything.
Got great curves? Great curves deserve
18-hour.
Playtex 18-hour bra. Supports full figures more beautifully.
Comfortably.
Great curves deserve
The 18-hour bra.
From Playtex, the fit that makes the fashion.
Only Sunkist Children's multivitamins have the delicious Sunkist fruit taste kids love. Plus the essential vitamins kids need.
Great vitamins.
Great vitamins plus great fruit taste only from Sunkist.
To Bears fans, Double D stands for Dave Dewison. But at C. Frank Chevy GL Subaru, Double D stands for something else. Dewison discounts. This week only, C. Frank Chevy GL Subaru will be giving Dewison discount from all new in-stock 1990 Subaru Justies. With my hard-hitting Dewison discount, you'll save up to $17.77 on the new Subaru Justy of your choice. Dewison discount, exclusively at C. Frank Chevy GL Subaru, 1919 Skokie Highway in Highland Park.
Here's Clarence again, marking down furniture at Homemakers. That means it's time for one of Clarence's clearances. And this week, it's dining room furniture. Save 20 to 70% on tables, chairs, buffets, chinas. Selected sets, individual pieces, discontinued lines, and showroom samples. All reduced 20 to 70% during Homemakers' big dining room clearance.
John and Smith's Homemakers.
Read Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. It's the owner's manual for the human mind.
And now, back to the search for Haunted Hollywood live.
You know, the Hollywood makeup artist is a vital element in the creation of ghosts and ghouls and all sorts of scary things in Hollywood movies. And Michael Burnett is one of the most dynamic young talents in the business. He has helped design Universal Studios' theme park in Orlando, Florida.
Ghosts and spirits seem to appear at the strangest times and usually out of thin air. But you know, for the movies, they've got to show up fully dressed and on cue. And that's where the talent of special effects magicians like Michael Burnett come in. This is where he hangs out. Let's go take a look. Michael, good to see you again.
Thanks. Now, you know, I'm one that believes in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny. Now you're trying to tell me that all the creatures that we see in the movies are fake.
Yeah, it's all just fiberglass and rubber.
Michael showed me that the art of special effects really is an art. Now, for example, a sculptor has to hand make a head like this one out of oil-based clay as a first step, and all features have to be pre-sculpted onto the dummy head.
And then after this is all finished...
And what is this for? What is this guy for?
This is like, in Florida, at Universal, they've got a lot of display heads showing various types of effects, and this is like one of those. And this is a mold that... you can take a look at that. This is this is a rubber mold, and that's an actual impression of that inside there. So when we cast out of this mold, we'll get a part, and we have a part right here. This is the polyfoam part that's unfinished, but you can see it's a foam. And then we take that, put the eyes and the hair, and all the little details, and we get this. And that's the finished head. You can see all the different.
Well, that is scary.
If we want to make an actor look like he's got gross teeth or fangs or something, we start by doing a live cast of their teeth, which is, you know, if you've ever been at the dentist, they do that a lot. And we'll create acrylic teeth, like Vance has got here. And these are made out of actual acrylic that they would use for you know, a person who actually had dentures.
You know, I've heard that one of the only downsides about being a special effects makeup person is there are no dental benefits. And Michael, these are great. They look so real.
Thanks, that's what we... Hey, don't mess with my parts.
John, I think I'll send it back to you now. It looks like I've got my hands full. Oh, geez, John, definitely take it back. Things are getting a little crowded in here. Here, you like ankles?
You can see why Michael Burnett is a master at what he does. He's joined us here tonight on our stage to present a live demonstration of the expertise of putting on makeup. You've also brought with you to our stage Chelsea Bond, an up-and-coming young actress. Welcome to our show, Chelsea.
Thank you.
We've seen the inside of your studio. Michael, tell us about some of the things that you're working on here at Universal Studios.
Well, right now I'm working with Universal Florida in creating the Phantom of the Opera horror makeup show, where people can come in and see in person how these type of effects are created.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, I understand you're going to do that live with Chelsea. You're going to turn her into something?
Yes, we're going to do, using foam rubber appliances, which I have here, we're going to turn her into a wolf man. Well, I guess a wolfette in this case.
A wolfette?
Yes. And so by the end of the show, you'll see a transformation.
All right, Michael Burnett, go ahead. Chelsea, you're a good sport. We thank you for being on our show. We'll check back with you periodically. But right now, it's time to join our live seance and an update from Patrick McNee. Patrick.
Channel your forces, complete the energy so that the circle can come together and we can create a powerful combination of our collected energies. Breathe in. I can't do this if you're going to be there. You got to move back. Breathe in. I can't do this if you're going to be there. Okay? I'm serious here. You got to move that back. Mark, would you? I want him. I can't have this here. All right? I can't have this camera, this handheld, jumping in on me. Just, no, not a step back. Back.
Well, Max, I have to keep him.
No, you don't have to keep him here. Well, if you keep him here, and I'm not just, we can just forget this whole thing. Look, this is a very difficult situation.
Just move him back a little bit.
No, in fact, you can move him away. In fact, move him out of the room is what I'm talking about.
Well, Max,
no, I do. This camera is really bothering. I don't care about those cameras. This camera is really bothering
John,
me.
Let's go back to you for now.
I'm serious.
All right, thank you, Patrick. We are live, and I don't quite understand what's involved in the seance, and maybe Patrick doesn't either. I'm sure Max has his reasons for not wanting the camera there. We'll go back to them when they get things together. But now, let's go to one of the most famous landmarks in the entertainment capital, the Hollywood sign, and our correspondent, Laura McKenzie.
This is one of the most famous landmarks in show business, whispering a tempting promise of fame, stardom, and entertainment success to all who gaze up to its perch high in the Hollywood Hills. But there's a sinister side to the history of the Hollywood sign, a ghostly legacy that conjures images of a young actress's tragic fate half a century ago, and the mystical scent of gardenias. The Hollywood sign. It's one of the most readily identifiable landmarks in all of show business, but it's also the site of tragedy, mystery, and haunted intrigue. There are many mysterious incidents we could recall. However, the most eerie experience surrounds the legend of Peg Entwistle. She was a promising young actress in the 1930s who'd come to Hollywood with stars in her eyes. Her dazzling success as a teenager on the Boston stage had led her, inevitably, to the star-making frontier of Hollywood. But despite bit parts in such films as 13 Women, Peg's career as a movie actress never materialized. On a warm September evening in 1932, she climbed to the top of the H in the Hollywood sign. She looked out over the town that had spurned her, and Peg Entwistle leapt to her death. Could Peg Entwistle's ghost be haunting the Hollywood Hills? Devin Morgan, a current resident of the area, thinks it may be the case.
I live up in Beechwood Canyon, which is located just below the Hollywood sign, and I take my exercise by walking up to the Hollywood sign. And on one particular day, it was a very hot day in the summer, I was coming down from the sign, and it's very steep, so there's switchbacks all the way down the road. And I was just at the turn of a switchback, and I looked down, and I saw this woman who was walking or moving just below me on another switchback. And she looked very strange to me. She had a very etheric quality. Instead of walking, she seemed to almost glide. She wasn't floating. She didn't look like she was a ghost, but there was something very, very strange about her and very soft looking, and I wanted to get closer to her. So I went around the switchback, and when I got there, she should have been just ahead of me on the road, but she wasn't anywhere to be seen. And the area where I had seen her was flat, and there was no place she could have gone except around another curve. And I took off and ran around that curve because I wanted to get close to this woman. And when I got there, she was gone. And there was an intense fragrance of gardenias in the air. I mean, just heavy with floral scent. And there was no flowers. It was hot, it was the summer, it was midday, and there's nothing but scrub brush up there. And later I read that when you come in contact with a friendly spirit, there is a floral fragrance, and if it's an evil spirit, there's a bad odor that was there. And twice again, in that same spot, walking, I smelled the fragrance of gardenias, very, very heavy, and with no flowers any place at all.
It all adds up to a mysterious legacy that looms over haunted Hollywood even today.
Fragrance up there. I thought it might be a ghost. You never know. You know, some of the biggest horror movie blockbusters of all time were filmed right here on the backlot of Universal Studios Hollywood. And rumors of ghosts and spirits haunting those sound stages are numerous. We therefore decided to bring two very special correspondents aboard to see what they could uncover. A very serious part of our show, Paul Williams and Pat McCormick. I'm not sure what they found, but let's check in with them right now.
John, there are a million eerie stories here at the Universal backlot.
You know, they say that Lon Chaney's ghost still haunts some of the sound stages.
And the ghost of a suicide victim has been reported seen near the Hangman's Building.
John, we guarantee that our ghost stories will top any other ghost story on the show tonight.
We're the best ghost hunters in America.
And to back up our pledge, if our story is not the best, Pat McCormick will drop his trousers on national television.
What?
Yeah, well, but wait a minute, son. You enjoy that sort of thing. You know, it's a good thing to do.
We'll check back with Pat and Paul as the show goes on. I'm sure they will find something. Stay with us. We'll be right back when Search for Haunted Hollywood continues.
Coming up, we'll see if the ghost of Marilyn Monroe still haunts the lobby of a Hollywood hotel.
An all-new adventure continues. Metallo, a supervillain with a heart of kryptonite, is bent on revenge.
Am I strong enough? Can I be
Who?
the one who started this, Superboy?
You're a murderer, and I'm taking you in.
Wrong. This is the end of the line, pal. Your luck just ran out.
Michael Callan stars on an all-new Superboy.
Today at 5 on 50.
Where's the best place to get brand name electronics and appliances? Let me drop you a little hint. Okay, a big hint. Electric Avenue at Montgomery Ward. You get low prices every day, and they guarantee they'll match any store's advertised sale prices. And we're talking quality names like Signature 2000 by Norge. Check out our heavy-duty washer and matching dryer with auto dry, both with 20-pound extra-large laundry capacities. So drop on in to Electric Avenue.
Montgomery Ward, brand name saving store.
It's your 30th birthday, girl. Is it hard to face the world? But there's Folgers to brew that's decaffeinated too. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Mornings brighten with Mountain Grown Folgers decaffeinated. Mountain Grown beans have a more enticing aroma and richer flavor.
Need to feel so blue that a was calling you.
You are finally waking up.
The best part of waking up.
It's decaffeinated?
It's Folgers in your cup.
And you know 30's not so bad.
Yeah, we're maturing.
New Liquid Tide with Clothesline Fresh Scent. It'll make your whole wash smell as fresh as all outdoors. New Clothesline Fresh Tide.
Here's Clarence again, marking down furniture at Homemakers. That means it's time for one of Clarence's clearances. And this week, it's dining room furniture. Save 20 to 70% on tables, chairs, buffets, chinas. Selected sets, individual pieces, discontinued lines, and showroom samples. All reduced 20 to 70% during Homemakers' big dining room clearance.
John and Smith's Homemakers.
Hey, how you doing? How are you? Not bad. Fine. I'm kind of hungry.
Are you?
Yes.
That's good, because look over there.
What?
You see what I see?
Whoa, double cheeseburgers. Exactly.
Watch this. You're going to like this. Here we go. Coming through, playing through, fellas. Watch your back. Watch. Got it.
Thank.
Not bad.
Burger King BK Doubles, featuring the barbecue bacon double cheeseburger and the new salsa double with jalapeno cheese. BK Doubles, only at Burger King.
Aha!
Hey, you got it. Congratulations.
Give me that. Give.
And now, back live from Universal Studios Hollywood, and again your host, John Davidson.
Well, here's the question as we lead up to Halloween. Do you believe in ghosts or spirits? Whether you do or not, we want to know the answer. And we have a 900 number set up for you to call.
Dial 1-900-490-6360 if you believe, and 1-900-490-6361 if you don't. It'll cost you $2 per call. The results will be tabulated and announced at the end of the show.
All right, when we last saw Patrick McNee and Max Maven, there was a little problem. I didn't know quite what to do. Our live seance wasn't going well on Studio 6, so let's check in with them. Again, Patrick, how are things going?
John, the problems we had earlier seem to have evaporated now that we've removed that problematic camera from the premises. As you can see, Max Maven and our seance are both back on course. And we'll return here live should anything else take place.
Thank you, Patrick. Glad to hear you're back on track over there. Let's meet our team of ghost hunting paranormal experts. This is fascinating at the haunted GMT Studios.
Richard Sennett calls himself a ghost hunter. And now when he investigates a haunted house or a movie studio, he begins by carefully constructing a floor plan and documents where each and every ghost sighting has taken place.
I am a ghost hunter. I do psychic research on houses affected by supernatural events. I like to study their history and background, try to find patterns, see if we can scientifically deduce the nature of the haunting, find out who it is, and perhaps suggest a solution.
Parapsychologist Barry Taff uses low-level photography and thermography to actually capture spiritual images on tape.
Modern science is what I'm trained in, which is I'm trained in psychophysiology and biomedical engineering and physics. Modern science teaches us that this phenomena should not occur and does not occur, but it does occur, which means either we're being fooled or we're ignorant. And I would rather believe the latter, that we're ignorant. And there's something going on out there that we need to explain.
Noni Fagat is one of the most highly regarded paranormal experts in the world, and her specialty is the exorcism of spirits.
Actually, exorcism is an extension of healing. It's a spiritual healing. You are laying that spirit to rest. Hopefully you're sending that spirit to another level where they belong. They certainly don't belong with us.
Daniel Hobbit is known as an electronic medium. He has found the ability to capture ghosts with his video camera.
Someone with a raised vibration that has an ability to capture, because of video, the equipment, magnetic tape, spirits. And I've done it 3 times. It was down this particular hallway that I picked up the cries of 2 small girls who had been mysteriously killed there. Now listen very carefully.
It is, matter of fact.
Extremely cool.
It's cold.
Sometimes the fans will go on while they're not anybody around.
Having already heard of the numerous accounts of spirits seen in this particular storage room of an old hospice unit, I locked my camera in, running for 2 hours, when I came to record this ghostly image. You might want to turn your lights down for a better look. Being that this is such a new thing to me, I'm not looking forward to doing this. Spending the night in a haunted studio. However, I think it's going to be exciting from the standpoint that I just might catch something.
The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel used to be the gathering place for stars and celebrities during Hollywood's golden era. In fact, the first Academy Awards banquet was held here in 1929 in the renowned Blossom Room. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel is rich with the spirit of Hollywood. During my research over the last few weeks, I found that ghosts have been seen, heard, and in a chilling experience, felt. I've had the opportunity to speak with several witnesses about the ghostly occurrences in the Hollywood Roosevelt. Kelly Green has been the hotel's motion picture coordinator for many years.
About 2 weeks before the opening, we had a mad scramble to get the hotel ready. We had to be open by the 30th because we had guests coming in, and we didn't have a full staff. And so all of the office types were sweeping floors and washing windows and generally doing the physical work to get the hotel ready to open. And my best friend was sweeping the ballroom, the Blossom Ballroom where the first Academy Awards were held. And he noticed there was a cold spot when he was sweeping the floor. He didn't think too much about it the first time, but when he came back and swept the other way, he felt this cold spot again. He asked me to come down and feel it. He said, "There's a ghost in here." Well, he's very dramatic, so of course I had to go see his ghost. Well, it's not a ghost, but it's a cold spot, about as big as this table. And you can walk through it, and you can feel a difference in the temperature of about 10 degrees. You really can. Now, if the room is full of people and lights, you can't feel it. But if the room is empty and it's been dark and quiet, like overnight, you can walk in it, and it's colder. And it makes me shiver every time I tell the story. But this is something we don't know who it was or what it was. But there was no air vents, no air conditioner going. It was a wooden floor. There were no doors open. There was no draft to make this cold spot. But there it was. And now, even though the hotel's been open for 4 years now, you can still walk into that room when it's quiet and dark and feel that cold spot. So somebody is there.
Quite a story there on Hollywood Boulevard. There's so much about life we don't understand. It's interesting. Here on Universal Studios' backlot is a treasure trove of fantastic locations, terrific effects, and spooky intrigue. So let's take a peek at our two extra special correspondents and see how their ghastly gallery of ghostly stories is shaping up.
You know, I've seen some of the ghost stories they've done so far. They're not much.
No. We should have no problem winning this bet. It's like money in the bank.
It'll be like cooking a 3-minute egg. Bing, we win.
Is the sun going to come up tomorrow? Of course it is. That's how sure I am we're going to win this money.
That's right. We can't miss. Why do I listen to you?
What do you mean, me? You're the one that said he'd drop his pants on television.
What? You said that.
No, I didn't. Wait a minute. I have an idea. We split up. That way we can cover more ground.
I think that's a good idea.
So do I.
So do I, too.
And don't forget our 900 number survey.
Dial 1-900-490-6360 if you believe in ghosts and spirits, and 1-900-490-6361 if you don't. You'll be charged $2 per call. We'll tally up the results and announce them at the end of the show. Next, the ghosts of Montgomery Clift and Marilyn Monroe when the search for haunted Hollywood continues.
I think little Timmy here ought to start every morning with a bowl of hot oatmeal. He likes something different every day. So, we get the Quaker oatmeal flavor variety. Yesterday, he had maple and brown sugar. Today, raisins and spice. Maybe tomorrow we'll have apples and cinnamon. So we're both happy. I make sure he does the right thing, and Quaker makes sure he likes doing it.
Beat you to it, Grandpa.
Okay, buddy. Instant Quaker oatmeal. It's the right thing to do.
Halloween's coming. What are you going to do about it?
do a little or a lot? Be an original this Halloween and find yourself at Hallmark.
Hallmark has a way.
You know what I like best about tap dancing? It's not the leg. And I can practice on linoleum. After Mom picks me up from tap lessons, I keep her company while she makes dinner. Tap dancing makes you very hungry, especially for burgers and Ora-Ida tater tots. Life would be perfect if I could eat tater tots every day and the whole world was covered with linoleum.
Doctors know that fiber laxatives are a better way to relieve constipation. Fiberol has more fiber than Metamucil.
Only Fiberol adds a second healthy fiber. Bran.
So try Fiberol, the one with more fiber.
Powder or wafer.
I used to think spaghetti sauce was spaghetti sauce. But you know, when you see Prego and Ragu side by side, the difference really comes through. Mmm.
Prego spaghetti sauce. Homemade taste. It's in there.
And now, live from Universal Studios Hollywood, back to the search for Haunted Hollywood.
My grandfather, whom I never knew, passed away many years before I was born. But when he died, maybe a year and a half later, he came to my grandmother in her sleep and told her that he was uncomfortable and not well and disturbed. That's the word they used. Finally, they went to the cemetery and discovered that a tree in the next lot, which was right adjacent to the cemetery, a root from the tree had gotten underneath the coffin and tipped it up. And so they had it dug up, chopped out the root, and then he came to her and said, "Thank you, I'm much more comfortable now," and then never came back.
Thank you, Norm. Now let's return to the Roosevelt Hotel and two of its most famous movie star apparitions.
During the making of the movie From Here to Eternity, Montgomery Clift lived here on the 9th floor of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. He stayed here for over 3 months. After each shooting day wrapped, he returned to the hotel and spent hours practicing his part and playing the bugle, which he had to learn for the movie. Since his death, guests on this floor and employees of the hotel have continuously reported that late at night, they've heard the sound of a bugle playing in the hallway, near room 928, Montgomery Clift's room. Carol Velazza was hired as a cocktail waitress, but helped with the renovation of the hotel in the weeks before its grand reopening in 1986.
My first week here, it was good. The beginning of the second week is when I was getting off the 9th floor elevator and I was walking down the hall and I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around to see if there was anybody following me and there was nobody there. And then as I was continuing to walk, I felt a cold breeze like walk right by me. And I went down in the elevator and never went back up.
What was it that brushed past Carol Velazza in the hallway? Could it still be Montgomery Clift playing his bugle after all these years? But the strangest story in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel is that of the Marilyn Monroe mirror. This mirror in the lobby of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel is no ordinary mirror. This is the mirror that Marilyn Monroe used to check her makeup in as she came and went from the hotel. Marilyn Monroe lived in the hotel various times during her career. It is said to be some of the happiest times of her life that she spent in this hotel. There are those who say you can still see her reflection in the mirror putting on her makeup. Suzanne Leonard was also involved in the hotel's renovation before it reopened. She now reflects on her experience with Marilyn Monroe.
I was asked to, clean a mirror. It was a very beautiful mirror. And I said, okay, fine, so I got my Windex in my hand and I was going and cleaning. And I looked in the mirror and I thought that someone was in the room with me. And it was, I was totally alone when I started this. And I looked around, there was no one there. And what I had originally saw was this very, very attractive blonde woman. And I turned around and there wasn't anybody there. And I looked back in the mirror and I saw this image, this beautiful blonde woman. Then the image disappeared. Then when I found out that this mirror is a mirror that Marilyn actually, when she did go to the hotel, look in and actually, you know, fix her makeup in, I was shocked because I didn't know that at the time. And I know that it was Marilyn, the image I saw.
Ghost experts believe that sightings such as these in the Roosevelt are examples of spirits returning to places where they enjoyed happy times in life. John?
The ghosts of Marilyn and Monty aren't the only ones who've been... our floor manager is telling me that we are going to the seance right now. It is live television? Yes. Let's go to the seance very quickly. Patrick McNee, has something happened there? What? Patrick?
John, something very unusual has just happened here, in the midst of our seance. I'm still trying to ascertain exactly what all this means.
I don't know.
I'm going to try and speak with Max.
Sure.
Max?
Yes, Patrick.
Max, could you tell us what happened?
Yes, okay. This is really interesting.
Patrick, I have to go to commercial. Max and Patrick, I know you have your problems here. I must go to commercial. Our producer is telling me we'll go immediately to commercial, and when we come back, we'll be right back for the Search of Haunted Hollywood right after this.
Carnation Instant Breakfast. You're gonna love it in an instant. You're gonna love it in an instant. So good and frosty, rich and tasty. Carnation Instant Breakfast. You're gonna love it in an instant. Carnation Instant Breakfast comes in 4 delicious flavors. Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, chocolate malt. It's one nutritious breakfast you're gonna love. Carnation Instant Breakfast. In regular and no sugar added. You're gonna love it in an instant.
Call me a nut, but all I ever wanted was to get into a Fifth Avenue candy bar, to be part of those crunchy layers of peanut butter, to be smothered in Hershey's Pure Milk Chocolate. Alas, I'm just a peanut, and they want peanut butter. To make a long story short, they don't want me. Never did. Never will.
Fifth Avenue, it's everything it's cracked up to be.
That's the story of my life.
All I want is a job where I feel needed.
Being a housewife isn't enough for Mom, and Mike doesn't get it.
I wish some guy had come along and marry me and pay my bills and buy me pretty dresses.
Until she changes her outlook and turns into Super Mom.
Mom, I'm only going to be gone for one day.
Will she wear the family down?
Get a job!
On Growing Pains.
Catch Seaver Fever, Monday at 5:30 on 50.
Ever wonder why more people are shifting to Chevy?
Broncos. What are you city slickers doing in the woods? We're bears. Shoot. You boys will never learn. Hit it.
Unlike the Ford Bronco, with Chevy Blazer, you don't have to stop and back up to shift from 4-wheel drive high to 2-wheel drive. You simply shift on the fly.
Hey, we're really clipping along.
Clipping? Don't say clipping. No one gets you into the Florida mood more than Midway. Midway Airlines, more non-stops to more Florida cities than anyone.
And now we return to the Search for Haunted Hollywood and your host, John Davidson.
Well, we're back. Let's go quickly to our live seance with Max Maven and Patrick McNee and an explanation of what happened. Gentlemen, what happened?
John, I'm here with Max Maven at Studio 6. Could you tell us what happened?
Well, this is really something amazing and exciting. And as far as I know, the camera was on. And I think did we get it on tape? Because I think we did.
Yes, look, can we see it?
Is it cute? Can we...
There's a pulsation.
All right. We're sitting here at the table. Okay, and we'd been doing this chanting and this breathing, and we started feeling... It's a rhythm. Like pulsations in rhythm coming through the tabletop. Can you feel them? And all but one person at the table actually felt them, although with different degrees of response. And just as we were dealing with that, you can see I'm reacting there. Look, see look what happened. Oh. The crystals hanging from that chandelier started shaking. What's so amazing about that is there's another chandelier on the other side of the set. It didn't move at all. There was no one near the chandelier. I don't know what we can say.
Do you think it was caused by a spiritual manifestation?
Well, excuse me, Patrick.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me.
No.
Oh. I've just been handed a note, Max, by the control room. It seems the camera we had so much trouble with earlier in the evening was the same one used to tape the story of Marilyn Monroe and Montgomery Clift's ghosts at the Roosevelt Hotel earlier in this week.
This explains a great deal, Patrick. Okay. This can we? I tell you what. I wanted the camera out of the room because of the strange feelings with it. Let's turn that around. Can we get that camera back? Is that possible? Can we get the camera back here in the studio? If that camera's got a strange feel to it, I mean.
Oh, I'm sure we can. By all means, Max. Now, John, we're going back to you now.
Thanks a lot, guys. That sounds fascinating. We're going back to the GMT studios now, where I understand they actually say that they have found something.
In doing a ghost hunt, one of the first things we want to do is get an idea of the exact physical area of our target. So to do this, I always draw an accurate floor plan. Using this floor plan, I go seeking areas of coldness, because for thousands of years, people have discovered that ghostly manifestations are linked to a strange cold phenomenon.
Barry, this is a silicon intensified target camera. It has the sensitivity of approximately down to 10 to the minus third foot candles. What we hope to achieve here with this assembly today is to capture that very faint light in a very dark room.
Interestingly enough, it's a different ghost than I felt 2 weeks ago when I came down here. This is because that was a male figure, and I felt him in this room too. I felt him where you picked him up, but that's something. This is somebody I don't know.
You think they're an actor or just someone stalking?
No, she's a transient, come probably from next door. I think she's a neighbor. Here, come here. Come right here. She's back.
There it is.
Try it again. I'll get out of the way.
It's very strong here. Interestingly, I got a lot on this side. I tend to believe that there are two entities at least.
Absolutely.
Two.
No doubt about it.
And I almost get a sensation, now this is just a gut feeling, that one's masculine and one's feminine.
I got the masculine off the pattern. The feminine, without feeling her again, and I'll go through the room again, I'd say must be the ghost that I know to be upstairs, because that's where, I absolutely positive where she is. Yeah, that one.
Recognize this place? It's where they shot Jaws. Gotta be a ghost story here, huh? Excuse me, sir. You actually catch fish here?
Once in a blue moon.
Well, forget about fish stories. We're looking for ghost stories. Ghost stories?
Oh, ghost story. I've got a ghost story. I've got a great ghost story. I got a terrific one. You want to hear it?
Oh, sure. Love to hear it. Only make it a humdinger.
Okay. Well, now this lagoon might not look like much, but but it's all the horror movie creatures on the Universal backlot have. And one time, this distinguished European baroness, she was visiting the United States for the very first time, and she was on her way to an international bingo tournament, but she got lost. So she took out her map, and she tried to figure out which way to go. And she strolled along, and all of a sudden, she found herself straying into the monsters' territory. Well, she was worried because she was carrying her special collection of gold-plated, personalized bingo cards with her. They didn't like her invading their territory. So they started chasing this bingo-crazy baroness away. Made it back to the hotel. To the lobby.
No, that's okay. I got my story.
And she didn't know, but a scout for the Ed Sullivan Show comes by. and she sees him. But her dog was more famous than her. So she didn't know what to
do. Maybe that'll shut him up. Maybe not.
Paul, I don't think that story quite matches some of the ones that we have coming up, but before we go to them, let's not forget our 900-number survey.
Dial 1-900-490-6360 if you believe in ghosts and spirits. 1-900-496-3361 if you don't. The charge is $2 per call. We'll have the results tallied at the conclusion of Search for Haunted Hollywood. Coming up, Master of Illusion, Harry Blackstone with his amazing Aunt Martha's Cabinet.
This is Paris, and I'm Tim Harris reporting. And down below...
At the last minute, I got this great chance to cover the bicentennial. Trouble is, it meant I was going to miss my folks' 50th anniversary.
Yeah, look, you're going to have to cut me a bigger hole back there.
But I got this idea.
AT&T USA Direct, can I help you?
Remember, honey, my parents got married in Paris. What if I find the restaurant in the wedding photo?
This thing doesn't have any name on the restaurant.
And I'll find it. Just fax me the photo.
We're at the Bastille, where it all started 200 years ago. Behind me is a gala that was built...
Fax for you. Restaurant? C'est par là. Hi, Dad. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Dad.
We want to take you and Mom to dinner. Just a little place. French.
Great.
Happy anniversary.
I'm so glad you made that call.
AT&T Long Distance. No one else gives you this remarkable power to manage your world. No one.
Thank you for using AT&T.
Leave the world out there. You know you've done your share. Now you're on your way to the place where it's okay. Toll House. It's good to be home.
Chocolatey, warm Toll House cookies made only with Nestle Toll House morsels. Make your house a Toll House.
Toll House. It's good to be home.
And try Nestle Toll House ready-to-bake cookie dough. They home bake in 10 minutes. Find them in your grocer's freezer.
Hey, Lego my ego.
Lego my ego, Jessica.
Light golden Eggo waffles taste so good, it's not always easy to get your hands on one. So sometimes you have to improvise.
Lego my Eggo, please.
Eggo waffles from Kellogg's.
The camera picks up everything, every detail, every flaw. If my hair is not perfect, not shiny, the camera can tell. That's why I use Germac. Germac never lets my hair down.
Germac never lets your hair down.
Dorothy, will you marry me? Where's my ring? A lifesaver? It's the beginning. Don't worry. We'll live with my mother.
Lifesavers candy. Isn't life delicious?
We're back with the Search for Haunted Hollywood Live with your host, John Davidson.
Well, we have a lot more ghost stories to come, but first let's check in with Michael. Let's see how things are going. Michael Burnett, what are you doing?
Well, we've got the appliances on, most of them, and they're all blended in around the edges. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this yak here
and glue these on.
Yak? Actual yak hair?
Yeah, actual yak hair. We use different types. We use human hair or yak. For this, for werewolf, it's yak hair.
You don't see many yaks around Hollywood.
No, not many. No, this is imported. So we'll be gluing this around the edges to blend in with the wig when we're all done.
All right, we'll be back later to check with you. And now, let's check in with our correspondent, our special correspondent on the back lot of Universal Studios.
Elvis made a lot of movies on this lot. So maybe Elvis's ghost is here. I gotta find something. Excuse me, sir. Are you now or have you ever been affiliated with the King?
Oh, the King? You mean Jasper, help me out. Come on, work with me. Cervantes, right? The King and the Platter Spinners?
No.
Sure.
The King, Elvis Presley.
Oh, Elvis Presley. You know, I used to manage his second cousin, twice removed, Luther Lee Presley. Quite a vent act. That's a ventriloquist. So what's it to you?
Well, I happen to be looking for Elvis's ghost. Have you seen or heard of him lately?
You know, it's funny you should mention that because about a week ago, I saw something right over here that reminded me of him. So I'm walking along, minding my own business and my client's business. I used to manage Leontine Hosoi, you know, best female tractor driver in the business. And suddenly, I walking along, and I see this musical instrument, this guitar. And I kept going. They look like Elvis's. I couldn't be sure, though, you know. It looked like a prop from Cinco de Massacre. I produced it in '75. Anyway, it was a cult film, you know. So, a real big film. So, anyway, I'm going along, right, and I see Elvis's sideburns right here on this lot. I know it sounds hard to believe it. Would I lie? Huh? I gotta get going. I gotta make some funeral arrangements. A contortionist I handled had a heart attack. Died in his own arms.
Oh, hey, listen, if you get any more stories, let us know.
Yeah, I'll fax them to you.
And by the way, if you don't mind living in Washington, I think you'd make a great politician.
You know, Pat, I've got to hand it to you. The story you found was a much better ghost story than the one I found.
No question about it. The ghost of the King beats the ghost of the Four Aces.
Well, I'm not quite sure I buy that story, but you and Paul keep trying. You know, Haunted Hollywood is a legendary jewel with many surprising facets. And the magic and illusions of this town are enticing, to say the least. So, please join me in welcoming one of the greatest illusionists in the world, Harry Blackstone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, John.
Hi, Harry. Harry, illusions are such a big part of Hollywood, a part of ghosts and ghouls. Illusion fits in with Halloween. What have you brought for us this evening?
Well, I brought an illusion for you that actually is based in fact. My dear, recently departed Aunt Martha left me a little something.
She
I'd like
passed
you to
away.
come on
I'm
up
so
here.
sorry to hear that,
Yes.
but she left you this.
Left me this. This is a cabinet right here. Yes. It's an empty cabinet. And I would show you here all the way through. Examine it if you would, please. Come here, look on the inside, on the outside, all the way through. Standing right up in there. Yeah. That's fine. Now you can come out of Aunt Martha's.
Thank you so much.
Right there, yes. Now, my dear Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred were dear people, very dear people, and there was a way that we used to communicate. She would communicate by wrapping a little something in a handkerchief for me. I'll just set this here for a second. But as we would communicate, one of the... Wait a minute. Oh. My goodness.
And
Several knots. Would you hold that for just a second, if you would, please? Let's close this here. What we'll do is we'll examine all of this. We have several items that belong to Aunt Martha over here. May I have those, if you please? These are some of the things that my Aunt Martha used to use.
She was musical.
She was indeed. Yes. She also was a collector.
I see.
But not very successful.
I see.
A tambourine.
Yes.
A bell. Which one would you like?
Tambourine.
You'd like the tambourine? All right, then you hold the bell. We'll use the tambourine. I'll place those on the inside here. Like that. And now, in closing this up, we'll ask Aunt Martha, if you're here, Aunt Martha, make a signal for us. Wait a minute. My word. Aunt Martha did make a signal. Just a moment. The bell. We'll place that here as well. Close this up. And we'll ask Aunt Martha to make a signal for... Yes. How about that? Lost her clapper. Wait a minute. I have an idea. Let's look carefully all through this right here. In fact, John... We'll open this up all the way. Break it apart so you can see all parts of this. Walk right on through. Examine it thoroughly.
There's nothing in here. I've been
nothing
in here
there.
before.
Nothing over here. Come right on through that side. Come right on through this side over here.
Harry, there's not
nothing
a thing
there.
in here.
Absolutely nothing. As you can see, just like that. So, as a matter of fact, one of the things that we found of my dear recently departed Aunt Martha was this dress.
Oh, so she did wear clothes.
Oh, yes. She was quite a swinger. You like the dress?
Yes, very nice.
Uncle liked it also. I'll place it on the inside.
Wait, let me check.
What, you did check?
All right, that
yes, you like that?
All right.
Look good? Yeah. All right, fine. Now, right there, and we have, where's the handkerchief you had? May I have that for just a moment, if you would, please? There's the handkerchief right here. I'll place this right back up here. Now, Aunt Martha, if you're here, give us a sign. I'd like you to meet my Aunt Martha. Aunt Martha!
Harry Blackstone. We'll be right back with Blackstone and his amazing presentation of Hollywood special effects just a little bit later. But first, let's not forget our 900-number survey.
If you believe in ghosts and spirits, call 1-900-490-6360. If you don't, call 1-900-490-6361. You'll be charged $2 per call. We'll have the results for you at the end of the show. When we return, we're going back to our live seance, so stay tuned.
Next time on an all-new episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation. A tragic accident exposes the crew to a savage alien race.
Crushed Enterprise. Medical emergency.
Riker leads a secret mission to save a dying team member.
Riker, stop! We will keep Troy captive.
But Picard must sacrifice his life for Troy.
He will kill me.
Father, no!
On an all-new episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Tonight at 10:30 on 50.
GMC Truck now offers proof that actions speak louder. It's Action Cash with $1,000 cash back on S15 pickups or $1,250 cash back on S15 Jimmys. Available both on new 89 and 90 models. Or choose low APR GMAC financing. So don't miss Action Cash at GMC Truck. You'll have a very good reaction.
GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
GMC Truck.
Here's Clarence again, marking down furniture at Homemakers. That means it's time for one of Clarence's clearances. And this week, it's dining room furniture. Save 20 to 70% on tables, chairs, buffets, chinas. Selected sets, individual pieces, discontinued lines, and showroom samples. All reduced 20 to 70% during Homemakers' big dining room clearance.
John and Smith's Homemakers.
If your nights are getting way too late, the sag in your mattress may be getting way too deep. You need a beauty rest. Its unique individually wrapped coils are pre-compressed to give you a comfortable mattress that stays forever firm. Sleep on a beauty rest and hear something you haven't heard in years.
Good night, hon.
For a limited time, this Seiko clock is yours with the purchase of selected Beauty Rest mattress sets. Beauty Rest by Simmons. Forever firm.
Free Seiko clock with each Beauty Rest set at Plunkett Furniture.
We're back live with the search for Haunted Hollywood.
My grandmother's mother was cradling a sick baby in her arms and heard a little tap, tap, tap on the window and turned around, and it was her grandmother or an aunt or something. She tapped at the window and she smiled, and then she looked at the baby and like waved at the baby, and then was gone. And my grandmother's mother, turned around and everything seemed normal and fine, and then she realized, wait, we're on the second floor, and looked again. There's nobody there. But that night the baby died, and so we think maybe it was the spirit of this woman. The woman that was at the window was dead too. Maybe it was her spirit helping the baby, guiding the baby on to the next whatever it is.
Very interesting. We'll be going back to Patrick McGee and Max Maven in our live seance here on Studio 6 in just a moment. But first, let's hear about a ghost who defies the law of gravity.
This is Runyon Canyon, an overgrown wilderness located right in the heart of urban Hollywood. Well, in 1983, the city of Los Angeles purchased the canyon and established a park right here on the site of a former estate known as the Pines. The magnificent estate in Runyon Canyon was first built by singing star John McCormick in the 30s and later bought by A&P Air Huntington Hartford. But the estate was abandoned in the 60s, and the lavishly landscaped grounds of the Pines fell to ruin. What was once the site of wild Hollywood parties frequented by stars such as Errol Flynn eventually crumbled and decayed. All that's left now is a virtual ghost estate. In addition to stories of vagrants, fugitives, and occult meetings up here, right before the area became a park, there was a series of unexplained fires. And residents still say that they hear sounds of a party coming from here, and they see weird multicolored lights coming from the second story of where the main house once stood, right here. But the strange sightings go even further. Neighborhood resident Tracy Vivad is a waitress during the day and one of several people who have witnessed strange occurrences here. Tracy said that she'd be willing to go on camera and tell us about the bizarre phenomenon she witnessed several summers ago.
I just live down the street from the park, so I used to come up here jogging after work. And one day I came after work. It was a little later than I usually come. So I started jogging up the hill, and all of a sudden I felt this cool, cold air brush past me. It was a little unnerving, and especially, it was the middle of the summertime. It was July, so I turned around and I jogged back down the hill. And I started just doing some easy stretching. And I was bending over, and I caught something on the corner of my eye. And he turned, and I saw this figure, this man, and he was on the bottom of these stairs, and he looked at me, and he froze. And he turned around, and he walked up the stairs, and he just walked right off into nowhere. He vanished, and after he left, I went over to the stairs, and the stairs just end. So if it was like a real person, they would have had to jump down or something. But this ghost, or I don't know what it was, it just sort of went right out into nowhere. I left, and I don't come here anymore.
A lot of us have had experiences like that. Let's go now to our remote correspondent, Patrick McNee, at the seance. Patrick.
John, as you can see, we brought the camera back into the room, and Max has improvised a new direction in which to take our seance. Let's watch and see.
All right, Patrick, now that it's been explained to me about this thing with Marilyn Monroe in the mirror at the Roosevelt Hotel and that this was the camera, I've changed the game plan and we'll try something I hadn't planned. We got a mirror from one of the dressing rooms, and this young lady was kind enough to donate this lipstick for the cause. Let me just make sure that it does right on the mirror. Okay, that's fine. This is the kind of thing that's ordinarily done in the dark, Patrick, and since we can't do that for TV, I'll put the mirror inside this envelope along with the lipstick, and we'll see what happens. Can we get everybody in on this? Put your hands on top of it. Just put your hands all together. Good. And just focus your attention and imagine that you were actually visualizing Marilyn Monroe with you as if something were going to happen. Believe in that. Believe in that. Try and make it real. Try and make it happen tonight and see if we can do something together. We call upon the spirits. We call upon the spirits to join us here tonight. What?
I think I felt something.
Are you right over the lipstick? Can you feel it? Is the lipstick moving? Yes?
There's something moving.
Anything? Yes? Wait a minute. Wait. Let me see. There is writing. It seems to be some letters, either a U or a J. I think a J and an O is what it looks like. A J and an O, John.
J.
Patrick, do you see that?
J-O. Well, what can that mean?
I would assume, if in fact this is something from Marilyn Monroe, that it may be part of a name or some initials from some person or place that's important in her life.
Well, I wouldn't want to speculate about it, Matt. But perhaps some of our viewers have a theory. John, let's go back to you for more.
I don't understand that. I don't know whether that's magic. I know he's a mentalist, but I don't know. How can you explain that? Maybe he will. We'll come back to Max and Patrick after their seance a little bit later. You know, paranormal experts say that many of the odd occurrences that we chalk up to coincidences in everyday life might actually be manifestations of spiritual energy. And they also say that there are 4 ways to see a ghost. There's glimpsing a spirit with one's eyes. That's maybe the most familiar way. But there's also the physical manifestation of energy, such as chairs moving around by themselves and a sensation that you're brushing past an invisible presence. In addition, there's the clairaudio experience, clairaudio, in which one hears a ghost or the sounds made by a ghost. Or there is the clairnescent experience, where a spiritual presence or something associated with that spirit's life is smelled. The question is, have any of these experiences happened to you?
Call 1-900-490-6364 if you've seen a ghost. 1-900-490-6365 if you've smelled a ghost. 1-900-490-6366 if you've heard a ghost. And 1-900-490-6367 if you felt a ghost. Your call costs $2. When we come back, we'll see a haunted house and the loyal audience of canines in its basement.
You know, there's so many tasty ways to have oatmeal now. You can have a different flavor every day of the week. But try telling that to her. She doesn't want to hear about maple and brown sugar and apples and cinnamon and blueberry and strawberry and banana, do ya? She eats peaches and cream oatmeal every blessed morning, don't you? You see, to me, it's the right thing to do. To her, it's the tasty way to do it. Quaker instant oatmeal. It's the right thing to do.
Here comes that Halloween magic. Anything could happen tonight. With Mickey Mouse and M&M's candies, everything's gonna be just right. A special time for fun and M&M's for Mickey Mouse and friends. The magic never ends. Grab on to that M&M's feeling. Happy Halloween!
Doctors measure back pain by how far you can bend. Extra Strength Dones is made for back pain relief with an ingredient these pain relievers don't have. Dones makes back pain go away. Extra Strength Dones, made for back pain relief.
The delicious taste of Stover's French bread pizza explained by my brother Dick. You get plenty of pepperoni, the real cheese, stuff. Real stuff. All the good things. Say, help yourself to Stover's Pizza. Help yourself to Stover's Pizza. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Help yourself to Stover's Pizza.
Winning the world over. I can't control traffic jams on the Ike, but I can control what I drive. I looked at the imports. Talk about high prices and not a lot of value. Then my Ford dealer showed me Ford Escort. It handles great and I saved a bundle on options like power steering, air conditioning, AM/FM cassette. Now that's value.
Right now, save up to $1,300 on new 1990 Ford Escorts.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Look what's rising out of the pumpkin patch this Halloween. The pumpkin cutter, a great way to let your kids carve their own pumpkins without sharp edges that cut little hands. It even makes toothy grins easy to do. The pumpkin scoop removes seeds and pulp better than any spoon. And the pumpkin light replaces dangerous candles with glowing results. Have a great pumpkin this Halloween with the pumpkin cutter, pumpkin scoop, and pumpkin light.
Pumpkin cutter products available at Venture, Walgreens, and Osco Drug.
The search for Haunted Hollywood live from Universal Studios returns.
You know, ghost stories take many forms, as these 2 tales of Hollywood hauntings show.
The Magic Castle is the most exclusive private club in the world. The members are magicians, and everyone from Johnny Carson to Cary Grant, Harry Blackstone to David Copperfield have performed here as members. Well, the founder and the creator of the Magic Castle is a man by the name of Milt Larson, and he's obviously witnessed performances and special magical effects by the greatest magicians in the world. Well, naturally, he was a skeptic when it came to ghosts, until one night, several years ago. Not surprisingly, it was Friday the 13th.
Well, I have a great respect for ghosts. And I suppose if I respect ghosts, then I must believe in them. I have a magician's cynical mind for this sort of thing. I've kind of go along with the Harry Houdini thing that we can create almost any effect, and therefore if you can create an effect, and if you wanted to create a ghostly apparition, you could certainly create one through devices in magic. Now, if you happen to see something that is unexplainable, something that you really have a hard time saying, well, even though you could create that, why would you? And that's kind of this little thing that happened here with me. The ghostly experience, if you would call it that, and I prefer to just say it was unexplainable experience. It sounds kind of hokey, but it was a dark and stormy night. Right in the middle of the night, there's a clap of thunder, and the lights went off, a power failure. So I wandered down just to see if the lights were really off in the whole building, and the whole building was just pitch dark. And as I was coming out of the tower, I heard Irma. Now, Irma, for people that don't know, is an invisible piano player. I'm coming down the stairs in the as I said, coming down the grand stairway, and I'm hearing Irma playing. And I got all the way down closer to Irma, and as I got just about to the point where I could see into the room and see who was there, because I figured some person had to be there, the piano stopped playing, and there was nobody in the room. The power was off. The building was locked. I was the only person in the building, and this is maybe 4 o'clock in the morning or so. Still raining and thundering outside. Nobody is going to be in this building. I checked the doors. I checked all the locks. I checked everything in the building, and there was nobody here except me. Now, I didn't play the piano. Irma, as we know Irma, didn't play the piano. So the question is, who did?
So, John, if you hear a piano playing in the middle of the night, don't worry. It's just Irma, the ghost of the Magic Castle.
Internationally known artist Charles Bragg lives in a home with a uniquely star-studded legacy.
This is an old house, and it was originally built by William Randolph Hearst for Marion Davies' favorite director, Robert Vignola. And from what we understand, he would rehearse her up here. There's a little theater downstairs with a proscenium and curtains, and it's like a tiny theater. And she would come up here and rehearse with Vignola. And then twice a week, William Randolph Hearst would come up here and she would put on little shows for him. I'd like to say I don't believe in ghosts. I'd like to, but I really can't. It seems to me that for so many years and so many experiences by so many different people, that it's not beyond the realm of possibility that there is something going on in this world, and in the Hollywood Hills in particular. Well, this is my studio, and it's a very important room to me, and I'd worked here for a couple of months before I realized that this is also where Marion Davies put on her little shows for William Randolph Hearst. And I thought it'd be a good idea to just hang curtains on it, just to add a little atmosphere to an artist studio. And it seems that that's when things started to happen on this platform, after the curtains went up. Suddenly our dogs started to respond. Right around 8:15 in the evening, they would be sound asleep, just relaxed by the fireplace. And all of a sudden they would jump up, get very alert, and then both of them simultaneously make their way down this little passageway, sort of almost a secret little passageway down. And I just find them down there just sitting in the dark, looking straight towards the stage. After watching the dogs behave the way they were, I didn't think too much of it. But naturally, the second or third time, I started thinking about it. So the next morning, I would come down and check to see if everything's in the right place, things are in order. And it's the strangest thing. The curtains were down as if they'd almost been drawn at the end of a performance. They weren't completely together, but it was almost as if the performance were over for that time. And so I put them back up and tried to paint and forget about it. But I can't.
Very interesting. Don't forget our 900 survey number.
Call 1-900-490-6364 if you've seen a ghost. 1-900-490-6365 if you've smelled a ghost. 1-900-490-6366 if you've heard a ghost. And 1-900-490-6367 if you've felt a ghost.
When we come back, you'll see a live demonstration of special effects with Blackstone. Stay with us.
Softness that won't wash away. That's important to Dr. Paula Couture, who washes her hands throughout the day. So she uses Eversoft lotion from Jergens. Eversoft is the remarkable lotion that won't wash off the next time she washes up. Yet Eversoft is not greasy. Now your hands can feel as soft as Dr. Paula Couture's. Eversoft lotion from Jergens. You won't wash away the softness.
A tampon's got to feel comfortable.
It's a fact. When women who use cardboard applicators tried Playtex plastic applicator, they said,
It's more comfortable because Playtex is smooth and rounded.
Playtex tampons, the protection to choose.
When you know the facts.
Feeling good about yourself, feeling carefree. Get full flavor, feeling carefree. Get full flavor, get it all, feeling carefree.
Spearmint and peppermint carefree gum, now with NutraSweet.
He's just a boy in a man's world, a homeless orphan living on the run,
Don't you have any folks? Yes, I must have, sometimes.
trying to tough it out alone.
How old are you, son? Old enough to do my share of the work.
But an old man takes him in
It's not a question of everybody look out for himself.
and teaches him what toughness really is.
It's much better look out for each other.
Walt Disney's The Young Loner, Monday night at 7 on 50.
Hey, how you doing? How are you?
Not bad.
Fine. I'm kind of hungry. Are you? Yes. That's good, because look over there. What? You see what I see? Whoa! Double cheeseburgers. Exactly. Watch this. You're going to like this. Here we go. Coming through. Playing through, fellas. Watch your back. Watch. Got it. Oh, thank.
Not bad.
Burger King BK Doubles, featuring the barbecue bacon double cheeseburger and the new salsa double with jalapeno cheese. BK Doubles, only at Burger King. Got mine. What's that? Greg Rupke-Nick.
GMC Truck now offers proof that actions speak louder. It's Action Cash with $1,000 cash back on S15 pickups or $1,250 cash back on S15 Jimmies. Available both on new 89 and 90 models. Or choose low APR GMAC financing. So don't miss Action Cash at GMC Truck. You'll have a very good reaction.
GMC Truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
GMC Truck.
We're back with the search for Haunted Hollywood and your host, John Davidson.
Let's go back now to our live seance and our host, Patrick McNee.
What's that you're holding in your hand, Max?
Well, as you can see, Patrick, it's a rather unusual crystal. Not only is it unusual in design, it's even more unusual in terms of the power within.
I look forward to seeing what effect that crystal can have on this seance. John, let's go back to you for now.
All right, thank you, Patrick and Max. Aren't you amazed at the effects you see in ghost movies? Harry Blackstone is back with us now with a live demonstration of the magic of special effects. Blackstone.
I've been asked to act as marriage counselor and give advice regarding marriage problems for this couple, Mr. Bones, and his wife here, the Invisible Woman. Now, what seems to be the problems? Ladies first.
For one thing, that cigarette.
I think he's smoking an old death certificate. Big clouds of smoke form in the house. Sometimes it even looks like it's going to rain in the living room.
Well, it's very healthy to vent your aggression.
Well, she's no bargain either. Look at her. She's nothing in bed.
Now, that wasn't a very nice thing to say, Mr. Bones.
And her drinking's ridiculous. She drinks so much, her liver showed up on the metal detector at the airport. I mean, her breath could start the windmills in an old Dutch painting.
Remember, you two, marriage is give and take.
What has she got to give?
Look at him. He did aerobic exercises for 2 years without stopping. Now just take a look. He's nothing but a living xylophone.
Now, we'll never solve anything if you two stay angry, so why not compromise, huh?
Hello, my little Snyder. I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah, you see that? That's our house pet. Thanks to her. Not a dog, not a cat. That's Snyder. She's always out walking her little spider.
Now, you've got to calm down. Put yourself in the other person's shoes, Mr. Bones.
Well, how would I know if I'm in them or not?
You know, I've had it with you.
Now, stop this.
You missed.
So did you.
So you two have been together for too long to act like this. Why don't you forget this
Yeah,
nonsense?
he's right. I'm sorry, honey.
I'm sorry, too, darling. Thanks to you, Mr. Blackstone, we're reconciled.
Oh, really? It was nothing. Now I'd like you to meet the man behind the scenes who's responsible for this scene of special effects as well as many scenes in the movies that you've seen for many years. Ladies and gentlemen, the wizard of special effects, Mr. Robert McCarthy. Hello, Robert.
How you doing, Harry? How's it going?
This was wonderful. Tell us about this, Mr. Bones and the Invisible Woman.
Well, I'll tell you, it takes a lot of people. We got 6 people backstage working.
Indeed.
And we're doing mechanical effects, magic effects, fiber optic effects. And smoke effects.
Right.
And some puppeteering. But we use what's called invisible string. I have some in my hand here, and it just pours the bottle on cue.
I
By
see.
lifting. And we have many strings on the Invisible Woman. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's the real one.
This is real
There's
magic.
no strings on that one. And here we have some fiber optics.
Right.
Now, that looks like a hot cigarette.
Certainly
Go
does.
ahead and touch it.
Oh, no, I'll burn myself.
Oh, no, you won't.
Really?
There we go.
It's cold.
It's a fiber optic, and it
Look at that.
glows like a real cigarette. And there's a fiber that goes all through the body of the skeleton and back to an illuminator in the back, and it glows. And we
terrific.
have a little smoke coming out of his mouth and his nose. There we go.
Well,
And
I think
that's
if you
what
smoke
happens.
that much, that's the way you're going to look.
Oh,
too.
yeah, I know.
So
Not
it took
very
6
long.
people back here. Can we have a chance to see some of our
Sure,
folks?
some of the puppeteers
There are a couple
on
up there
top.
and around the back and
And
on the sides and all of
Here's
them. Here they
our
are.
coordinator
And
that
Carol
coordinates it all, Carol.
You know, it's absolutely wonderful. It's ingenious, the kind of thing that you do. It appears that you guys are puppeteers and technicians and most of all an illusionist and all rolled into one. I want to thank you very much. I see you've got something there.
Oh, this is one of our last little magic tricks. Check
I
that
see.
out.
It's a big
40
nail,
penny
like
spike.
a 40 penny.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a solid one.
All right, I'm going to
Certainly
drive
is.
this into my head, but don't get
Oh,
it.
no.
Sure, it's just a special effect.
A special-
It goes to the side of my head. Where else could it go, right?
Oh, I see.
And I
So that
drive
when
it-
you look at it from the side.
Right. See?
I got it.
But when you look from the front, you see that it's in the side of my head? Or...
Oh, no wonder they call you guys Wizards Incorporated. An appropriate name, absolutely. You're wonderful.
Thank you, Harry.
And thanks to all of you. And back to you now, John.
Well, thank you, Blackstone and Robert, for that demonstration. Now, don't forget our haunted hotline.
Dial 1-900-490-6360 if you believe in ghosts and spirits. 1-900-490-6361 if you don't. Call 1-900-490-6364 if you've seen a ghost. 1-900-490-6365 if you've smelled a ghost. 1-900-490-6366 if you've heard a ghost. And 1-900-490-6367 if you've felt a ghost. Later, we'll have our own Clear Audio experience.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, nuts, nuts. Almond Joy's got rich milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Ooh. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, nuts, nuts. Because
sometimes you feel like a, sometimes you.
Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive.
You know, every
every time you serve any one of these rice-a-roni side dishes, you save the life of a potato. And with 30 varieties, you can serve one every night for a month and never have the same one twice. Serve rice-a-roni, not stale life.
The 1990 Toyotas are here with a full line of new cars and trucks to please every sensibility and every wallet with 1990 option package savings that make unusually common sense. Special dealer discounts could save you even more or save up to $2,500 on a select number of new 89s, but you better hurry.
If you want to be the best, you got to continually set goals.
First class ticket to L.A.
You drink, sir?
Thank you very much.
And once you meet those goals, you've got to set new ones.
Your coffee, ma'am. Thank you.
See, if you want to be the best, you can never be satisfied. Reaching goals, setting new ones, that's how you get to be the best.
Sunday is not too late.
But you said...
Forget it. Carpetland USA is extending our 50% off everything sale now through Monday.
That's 2 more days.
Right. 2 more days to save half off every carpet we sell. Every color, every style, every brand name is 50% off.
Wow.
Plus, through Monday only, make no payment with no interest for 6 months.
So we've got 2 more days.
Yes, Carpetland USA has extended our 50% off everything sale. But we promise that after Monday, it's over. So hurry.
We interrupt this fall to bring you winter. Your Great Lake GMC truck team dealer is ready to set you up for the season with 4-wheel drive GMC trucks. The snow is on its way, and GMC 4-wheel drive is ideal for wintertime work and play. Right now, get up to $1,250 cash back on new 1989 and 1990 S15 Jimmys from your Great Lake GMC truck team dealer. Now, back to your regularly scheduled season.
Now, back to the search for Haunted Hollywood and your host, John Davidson.
Well, Michael Burnett has about finished the Wolfette transformation. Chelsea, my goodness, can you turn sideways to see? This is amazing. How can you turn this way? Look at the way. That's not your lip there, is it? Or that?
No.
And that is there. And this is all just wonderful. I hope you have a date for Halloween already.
Yeah, I just got
because you may
early.
not get one now. But let's look at time-lapse photography, Michael, and you explain how you did each step along the way.
Okay, here she is before.
She was so lovely when she came into the studio.
Okay, we started with one foam appliance on her forehead.
Right.
And that was glued down and blended with the other. Those are the other 3, the chin and the 2 cheeks. And those edges were all blended together. Then we put some hair on her forehead. We wanted to save the muzzle for last.
Right.
And from that,
and
there she is.
And stick out your tongue, Chelsea. Even her tongue.
Yeah, we use the vegetable dye to get that.
That vegetable dye?
Yeah, it'll wear off in a little bit.
All right, let's go again to our... it's your date for Halloween, just whistled. Let's go again to our live seance and check in with Patrick McNee and Max Maven.
We're back with Max and our piece of mysterious crystal.
Let me tell you a little history on this, because it's really fascinating. Everyone's heard of Harry Houdini, the famous magician and escape artist, and probably most of you know that he was also involved in ghost hunting and the occult in certain types of investigations. Harry Houdini was also involved in the movie industry and had a mansion here in Hollywood. And the mansion burned to the ground in the early 1970s. And on the ruins of the estate, this slag crystal was found. We can assume that it originally was in the form of a crystal ball. Whatever its original form, in this form, it seems to have a rather amazing power. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look. It doesn't break. Now, I think, given what has transpired thus far, that if we can harness the energy of that crystal with the energy that we've already built in this room together, perhaps we can manifest something even more amazing than what we've done already. So let's do some deep breathing again in unison to get back into rhythm. And this time, Patrick, you join us and be part of this. So if you would breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in.
Max and Patrick will break away from you for a moment here now. they don't have the benefit of slag crystal, but Paul Williams and Pat McCormick's search for the best ghost story is coming to an end. Although I'm a little skeptical of their ghost hunting tactics, here they are.
Did you hear what John just said?
Yeah, he said our ghost stories were a fake.
But they were the best. We won. Elvis lived.
Yeah, and the Countess del Bengala, she was the real thing. Listen, John, we are not dropping trousers on national television, and that's a fact.
If those stories weren't true, let there be some sign from heaven.
Show us a sign. Show us what you can. Shoot your best shot at Mr. McCormick and Mr. Williams, because we stand on what we have done. We stand on our credentials. We are honest men, and what... I'm sorry.
Nice try, guys. Next up, a Hollywood ghost story that involves the ghost of one of Elizabeth Taylor's former husbands. Watch.
Jack Carter and his wife Roxanne were having dinner one night at the home of their friends, Sidney and Georgia Sheldon. It was a dinner they'll never forget.
I knew him as a young man, Nicky Hilton. I was with him on his honeymoon to Liz Taylor, and he was about the strangest, weirdest kid I'd ever met. The Jimmy Dean of millionaires, you know? The people tell us Hilton committed suicide here. And then I kind of peeked in that library when she'd mentioned it, and I walked down by myself, away from the crowd, the buffet, and the movie, whatever was going on, and I peeked in, and my God, there he was sitting at the desk. I mean, it's you know, made your hair stand on end. I kind of bolted out, you know. I can't explain why later on I thought I saw Groucho Marx there, but maybe it was my week for stars. I don't know. But it was his vision or apparition, his look. You know, that look he had. He looked just like Jimmy Dean.
Sometime later, we had been invited over to the house, and our hostess had taken me upstairs and shown me the bedroom. The carpeting was stained with blood.
It was the same room where Nicky Hilton years before had slashed his wrists. And the strange thing was, no matter how many times the carpeting had been replaced, the bloodstains kept coming back. While we were examining the carpet, our hostess's daughter called to the room on the intercom. Something really strange was happening in the kitchen. Well, we rushed down there wondering what could be causing such a fright. And something was definitely shaking the liquor cabinet. I mean, from the inside, we thought maybe a cat had gotten in there, but after our hostess unlocked it, all the shaking stopped and there was nothing unusual at all about it.
She then closed the bar and locked it, and everything went crazy. Liquid came pouring out. Bottles were shaking. I was scared to death. He and I looked at each other. We were both panic-stricken.
Oh, it's frightening, especially the noise and rattling and shaking. The bottles, you know, actually hearing something. And you think maybe it's a tremor, an earthquake, or what, or some kind of a gag, or, you know, like right on cue. Things would happen constantly in that house.
Apparently, Nicky Hilton has continued his call from beyond. Subsequent owners have also reported strange sightings of ghosts. It seems that unusual occurrences have plagued the property with a haunted legacy that shows no sign of stopping.
What do you think? That's quite a story. Our spiritual survey is quickly coming to an end, so if you haven't voted yet, now's the time to do so.
Call 1-900-490-6364 if you've seen a ghost. 1-900-490-6365 if you've smelled a ghost. 1-900-490-6366 if you've heard a ghost. And 1-900-490-6367 if you felt a ghost. Your call costs $2. The results will be tabulated and announced at the end of the search for Haunted Hollywood.
Later, they tell me that we're going to see and hear the ghost on tape from the GMT studios. But up next, more sensational Blackstone magic. Stay with us.
I swear, I heard them. They said 35% off AT&T. Well, it took a little longer to get through, but I kept thinking of that first low bill. Can I get the first bill? 35% off? Well, you gotta read the fine print. You gotta make these really short calls over 900-something miles away after 7 p.m. You gotta follow their rules. I don't like rules.
People who thought they could do better than AT&T are coming back for the real value. Aren't you glad you never left?
Carnation Instant Breakfast. What a delicious idea for breakfast.
You go to love it in an instant. The instant you taste it, the instant you try it. You go to love it in an instant. So cool and frosty, rich and creamy. Carnation Instant Breakfast. You're gonna love it in an instant.
Carnation Instant Breakfast. Nutritious, delicious, frosty, rich in chocolate, strawberry, vanilla.
Carnation Instant Breakfast. You're gonna love it in an instant.
Will a happy Halloween become a ghoulish surprise? On Lassie.
Today at 5:30 on 50.
We interrupt this fall to bring you winter. Your Great Lake GMC truck team dealer is ready to set you up for the season with four-wheel drive GMC trucks. The snow is on its way, and GMC four-wheel drive is ideal for wintertime work and play. Right now, get up to $1,250 cash back on new 1989 and 1990 S15 Jimmys from your Great Lake GMC truck team dealer. Now, back to your regularly scheduled season.
Sunday is not too late.
But you said...
Forget it. Carpetland USA is extending our 50% off everything sale now through Monday.
That's 2 more days.
Right. 2 more days to save half off every carpet we sell. Every color, every style, every brand name is 50% off.
Wow.
Plus, through Monday only, make no payment with no interest for 6 months.
So we've got 2 more days.
Yes, Carpetland USA has extended our 50% off everything sale. But we promise that after Monday, it's over. So hurry.
Here's Clarence again, marking down furniture at Homemakers. That means it's time for one of Clarence's clearances. And this week, it's dining room furniture. Save 20 to 70% on tables, chairs, buffets, chinas. Selected sets, individual pieces, discontinued lines, and showroom samples. All reduced 20 to 70% during Homemakers' big dining room clearance.
John and Smith Homemakers.
Welcome back to the search for Haunted Hollywood, live from Universal Studios Hollywood.
Once again, it's time for Blackstone.
May I invite you gentlemen to come up, please? Thank you very much. I've just invited a half dozen gentlemen from our audience to join me to give you a little demonstration of what in the 1920s and 30s was used here in Hollywood by the local spiritualistic mediums. You see, spiritualists, which were considered to be a conduit to the other side, would allow themselves to be tied with a piece of rope. Gentlemen, would you pull on this rope to show our audience that it in fact is real rope? It's not rubber or elastic, correct? Fine. And now I'll do this here, placing a little knot in the center. Examine it. You see there's been a piece of tape around each end of the rope. It's there to keep the knot from unraveling. Other than the tape, do you find anything at all on the end of the knot, on the end of the rope? Nothing? Examine it. You find it?
A little fuzz.
You find what?
A little fuzz.
A little fuzz.
A little fuzz.
Ladies and gentlemen, a piece of rope with nothing on this end and a little fuzz on the other. I know your friends will be glad to hear that. Would you pull it tightly around my wrist? Whoop, just a moment. Let me get the fabric out from under. Pull it tight. That's good. The young gentleman right here, I'd like you to feel that, sir. Tell me if you think that feels good and tight.
Feels good and
It
tight.
does feel tight. And would you feel it, please? Make sure it's tight. Does it feel tight to you? It has. Have you ever felt that tight? I never have. Drop the ends a moment. I'm going to place my 2 hands together in a manner like that. I invite you 2 gentlemen to please tie my hands together behind my back where the audience may watch, but I cannot see how you tie it. The young man here, you step forward, please, and make sure that they do a good, secure job. Make it around the wrist, if you would, please, sir. Do it quickly, if you would. That's fine. Each take an end and pull. That's fine. Make sure it's tight. Now make another knot on top of the first and do it quickly. That's fine. Do it quickly, please. Pull it tight. And one more knot. That's fine. Now, my hands are tied. This will preclude me from involving myself at all in anything. Drop the... What do you mean they're not tied good? Okay. You tie another knot any way you'd like. Easy. Now, my hands have been securely tied. And at this moment, we're going to attempt to recreate one of those moments that the spiritualists may have seen in years gone by. And gentlemen, make a nice straight line here, if you would, please. Now, at this moment, we each have a spirit. We each have a spirit, and your spirit is a spirit of an old man with a beard. At this very moment, he's hollering above your head. He's trying to communicate with you. He's trying to touch you. And so you see, it is in fact to have communication with the spirits. And I would like you, if you would please, just to make sure that... That's fine. Easy. That's fine. Now, in fact, as we try to communicate, to show you that there can be no involvement of mine, I'd like you to please examine the wrists, make sure the knots are tied and tied securely. Yet, there is a chance for this to, of course, make some kind of a... No, gentlemen, I'd like you to check the wrists right here, because I'll get out of these knots in a matter of a very few seconds. In fact, when I say a few seconds, I mean just that. And I'd like anybody with a watch here to look at your watches and see how long it...
I had a watch.
What do you mean you had a watch?
I had a watch when I came up here.
You had a watch when you came up here? Don't let anybody out. He's lost his watch. Maybe this is what you're looking for here. That's fine. Now, the gentleman on the end, would you mind stepping over here a moment, please? I'd like you to examine these. Make sure that they are tied and tied securely. They are indeed tied, correct? Oh, don't go away. Just a second. The other gentleman helped tie over there. You stand there, too. I'd like you to look at them. He found them tied. Let's make sure that they are. But you see, I'll get out of these knots faster than any of you can say haunted Hollywood. Like that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now, as we ask these gentlemen to go back to their seats, I would like to thank you very... I didn't get a chance to meet you. What is your first name?
Mark.
Your name is Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. You might like to have... This is your necktie. That's fine. You might like to have that there, too. Let's have a nice hand for these young men as they all go back to their seat. Watch this. Watch it. Hey. Oh. Hey. You like that, too?
Harry Blackstone.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming up and helping.
Master illusionist. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you. We got him that time.
You always get them. Let's go back now to our live seance where spiritual vibrations, I'm told, are generating some fascinating manifestations.
Breathe in. Breathe out. The energy is focused. Don't lose it. Put your hands flat onto the table in front of you. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor. Listen very carefully and keep your eyes and attention focused on the crystal. Focus the energy in the room as I call upon the spirits to enter this room, to join our seance with a manifestation beyond anything we have seen thus far tonight. I need you focused. Come on, we can do this. Don't give up now. Focus. Breathe together. In. Out. In. Out. I invoke the spirits to manifest their presence here in our seance circle. Join us. Join us tonight. Come into this room. Join us now. Show us a sign. Movement is the key. Show us a manifestation. More. Give me more movement than that. Higher. Faster. Back. Up. Up. Higher. Up. 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 Higher. Higher.
That was incredible. The table levitated.
Over here.
Huh.
That's amazing.
Our seance is completed. John, it's back to you.
That's wonderful. That's quite a seance you had there, Patrick. And we here in this studio, thank you very much. Thank you to Max Maven and all your seances. May they all be wonderful. As Search for Haunted Hollywood will continue. Here's our
Dial
number.
1-900-490-6360 if you believe in ghosts, and 1-900-490-6361 if you don't. Call 1-900-490-6364 if you've seen a ghost. 1-900-490-6365 if you've heard a ghost. 1-900-496-3666 if you've smelled a ghost. And 1-900-490-6367 if you felt a ghost. Each call will cost you $2, and we'll have the final tally when we come back. Next, we will see the GMT Studios ghost.
Sponsored in part by Mrs. Smith's Pies and Desserts. Surprise someone tonight with a Mrs. Smith's pie. And by Quaker Oat Squares, from the man who knows breakfast best.
14 years of marriage, you think you know someone. And then one night, it's like a different woman. Oh, I admit it was kind of exciting. A plain old Tuesday night, and suddenly, pie for dessert.
Mrs. Smith's ready-to-serve desserts.
An honest-to-goodness lemon meringue pie. On a Tuesday. I don't know. One day, same old. The next day, boom.
I like to keep them guessing.
They won't be expecting it, but they're gonna love it. Mrs. Smith's Desserts. Surprise someone tonight.
Nobody but this man could make an oat cereal that tastes this good. After all, breakfast is what he knows best. Quaker Oat Squares. Here is the rich, nutty taste of toasted whole grain oats with a hint of brown sugar. Crunchy little squares that stay crunchy in milk and sure taste good. In the bowl or even out of the box, oats as delicious as only he could make them. Quaker Oat Squares, from the man who knows breakfast best.
It's now. It's neat. And so discreet. Playtex Portable, a full-size tampon and a compact plastic applicator packed smaller. Playtex Portables, now neat, discreet.
I used to think spaghetti sauce was spaghetti sauce. But you know, when you see Prego and Ragu side by side, the difference really comes through.
Prego spaghetti sauce. Homemade taste. It's in there.
And now, the conclusion of the search for Haunted Hollywood with your host, John Davidson.
Well, the results of our spiritual survey are in. I'm glad you've enjoyed the show here in the studio. I can't believe these results. These are actual phone calls that have come in while we've been on the air. 90% of our calls say they believe in ghosts. 10% do not believe in ghosts. I'm amazed. You can applaud if you want. 47% said that they have seen a ghost in their lives. 10% have smelled a ghost. We thought we were laughing here in the studio, but 10% have actually smelled a ghost. 17% have heard a ghost, and 26% say they felt the presence of a ghost. All right, it's amazing. We still need to look at that ghost that we found at the GMT studios. So let's welcome live our 4 paranormal experts. We have Richard Sennett, Barry Taff, Daniel Hobbit, and Noni Fagat. Welcome to our studio, all of you. We've already seen a clip of what you saw in the studio, Daniel. Now, let's look at that clip again. You're saying that we saw a ghost on this tape.
Yes, I am.
All right. Can we look at our monitors now and we'll see what we saw?
Watch the monitor very closely
yes.
now. While I was shooting at the time, my camera went out. And this is in the courtroom now at GMT Studios.
Yes.
Now listen very carefully. You hear the moaning in the background?
Yes.
If you listen very carefully, you can.
There is another sound there beyond the static.
A human voice in the background.
And you think it's a human voice, and the rest of you do from the studies that you've done. Can we hear it again? The camera stopped.
Completely stopped. Now, it was registering, recording in the monitor at the time.
It's after the whistle is the other sound. Ooh,
there is a
like
moaning,
that.
what appears to be a woman's moaning.
Any other explanation of what it might be, or do you have...
There was no one else in the room doing that.
All right.
I don't know.
Now, Barry Taff took some photos at the GMT location. Is that right, Barry?
Yes, right, John.
Exactly how did you do that?
Well, I had a very sophisticated 35mm camera with me, and we had a deep red filtered strobe on it and some very fast film. And we shot in complete darkness, and we got some very unusual results.
All right, let's show some of these results. That flash of light?
What you're seeing here on the monitor is a completely dark room, and that spike of light, or spire of light, was not visible, but it represents what we think may be an anomaly of sorts or some type of manifestation. Here on the left side of the frame, you see a jet of energy or force coming out, again in a different location. And the next slide you see on the right looks like it was actually cut. That's another spire or spike of some form of force displaying itself to the camera.
Now, this has just happened last week or
2 weeks ago.
Would you then take these and study them some more to verify your initial reaction?
Well, based on Daniel's work and the audio work, the video work he got, based on what I got, I think we have to go through a lot more analysis. And I think what we got on film and got on tape strongly suggests that we've got a haunting here.
That's fascinating. Now, Daniel, not only did you capture that, what we call a clair audio, can I call that sound a clair audio, but you also got a visual ghost.
Astonishing,
didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about that.
Okay, it was at the time that my camera was set up, and Barry and I were in the back. We're taking pictures in what was established as a hot spot, when all of a sudden I picked up this ghostly image.
Now, we've just shown that, but let's go back.
Yeah. Now, watch this very closely.
What you are spotting is
something coming out of the wall down at the end of the corridor.
In that dark. You're talking about the fog, the light effect.
Exactly. Right, now it's going towards the middle of the screen if you watch, and then back into the wall. It's almost as if it notices
when you come to this part.
Yes.
And you have no idea what would there be some other reason for this? Obviously, that's what you're trying to figure out.
Exactly. That's why we were there trying to study this.
Let's look at it in slow motion again. There you see that white sort of fog right in the center of the screen. It's totally dark.
Exactly.
And there's no light in the room. And
none.
Now, it seems to vanish there. It has gone into the...
It comes out, it's almost as if it notices me and rushes back into the wall. And it's amazing.
It is a phenomenon that we can't understand, and you're saying
that's
perhaps
why we're here
it's
to
a ghost.
Study it.
And we're glad you're here to share this with us. Let's take a look once more in slow motion. Have we done the slow motion already? I think we already have done that. All right, let's move on. The figure that seems to materialize. Richard Sennett, can you add any more to this location?
Yes, there is a lot of psychic activity. When I went through the place and pinpointed those areas I believe to be hot spots using dowsing rods, every place I pinpointed independently was where they got phenomenon.
A hot spot?
That's an area of psychic disturbance where we got some activity using dowsing rods.
All right. And Noni Fagat, any final words on the future of GMT Studios?
Well, of course, as a studio, I'm sure it has a great future. If you mean, will it ever cleanse itself of all the spirit that the researchers and myself had located there, at least what we feel is spirit there, they're never going to get rid of all of it. I did an exorcism on the one spirit that made that dreadful groaning noise, and we laid her to rest, but there's the green lady upstairs and a half a dozen other downstairs, and I think because of the type of activity generated in that studio, able to really cleanse that of ghosts.
Well, you're all fascinating people, very respected in your field, and we thank you for sharing your observations with us. It's fascinating. Well, here you see tonight, in the entertainment capital of the world, we've seen guests give us a laugh with their ghost stories. We've seen others entertain us with their baffling happenings. We've also seen and heard from scholars and genuine participants in the study of ghostly phenomena who are deadly serious. Are there such things as ghosts? You decide. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
What are the secrets never knew? They're still alive in the air if we listen. She's trying to tell us what everyone knew. The magic, the mystery of Hollywood. I can feel it in the air tonight. Do I hear laughter or maybe it's fear? I can feel it in the air tonight. The spirits are alive in haunted Hollywood. It's in the air tonight.
Celebrities and guest stars from all over the world flew TWA to make this very special event happen. TWA, find out how good we really are. Hotel accommodations provided by the Sheraton Universal Hotel, the official hotel of Universal Studios Hollywood. Limousines for Haunted Hollywood were provided by Gemstar.
Haunted Hollywood.
Tomorrow night
night at 7, he was a young boy living in a man's world. Don't miss Walt Disney's The Young Loner. But right now, has Superboy met his match? Find out next on WPWR TV, Chicago's Power Station.
We're just family. Like June Ward and the Beaver.
Join the fun with Silver Spoons, weeknights at 6:30 on 50.